I told y'all Xbox wasn't playing around this console generation.
On a real note, I cannot stress enough just how much Xbox is doing for this next generation coming. And after seeing the PlayStation event that we saw yesterday and the announcements that they've made, I think Xbox pretty much has this in the bag as far as taking the consumer approach and making everything as accessible as possible. And honestly, Xbox is definitely going to fundamentally change the way the gaming industry works as we know it. Let's talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, welcome back to another episode of The Dashboard. And today we are going to discuss what's going on with PlayStation 5 and what's going on with Xbox Series X/S and why Xbox is killing it right now, because they are seriously providing some big brain, super powerful plays at the moment. And I can't continue to ignore or not talk about it. I have to tell you guys what I know. So let's do a quick recap of what happened in yesterday's PlayStation 5 reveal event. So to get things started, we got a reveal trailer / more gameplay on Spider-Man Miles Morales, and that looked absolutely phenomenal. But honestly, granted, the first Spider-Man game was already really good. It was hard to really have that be messed up going into another sequel because they just already had the basic combat maneuvers and the animation style and the art style. They had all of that locked down with the very first Spider-Man game. So I'm not surprised that this game is drawing a lot of attention and how great its storyline looks. And if you guys haven't noticed those tentacles in there, I'm feeling some Doc Ock vibes. If you guys know a little bit more about Miles Morales and the Spider-Man universe for that section, the Dr. Octopus is a female, and all these henchmen are using the tentacles, and I think those tentacles look like her tentacles, and I'm just speculating. But continuing on, we also have Final Fantasy 16. There's gameplay that was revealed, just a little bit of gameplay in between some of the more cinematic shots, as well as a Demon's Souls remake that was also shown. We did get some gameplay of that as well. And then we also got a little sneak peek, little teeny tiny teaser for the next God of War game, Ragnarok. So that is definitely stirring the pot a lot. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's excited. If you guys haven't played the last God of War game, it was literally a cinematic masterpiece, as well as just a wonderful gameplay loop. It was never boring at any point in time. It was just such a great game that it's hard to not give PlayStation credit where credit is due. When it comes to their first party games that they have made for their platform, their games are absolutely phenomenal. If you're looking for single player open world games like that, that's the place to go, honestly. PlayStation kills it with their exclusives. They are always killing it. But granted, we aren't seeing too much more on anything else that's going to be launching. All the rest of the titles were either third-party titles that you're going to see on other systems, or they were titles that were going to be released into the future. So later 2021. The God of War trailer was also 2021. So these are things that we were expecting later on down the line. But as far as this holiday season coming, you only have a select few games that are going to be available right at the release to play on that new upgraded hardware. So keep that in mind. They also announced a PlayStation Plus exclusive collection. So they're going to have some of their best-selling games that were available to regular PlayStation 4 players. And they are basically assembling them into a little list. It's kind of like Game Pass, but like Game Pass Hall of Fame is what I'm getting in my version. And there is no price that was announced on this. So you're going to get games like God of War, Uncharted 4, some other pretty big title games that were smash hits on the PlayStation 4. But honestly, without knowing the price, unless it's just built into the original PlayStation Plus agreement where it's $10 a month for PlayStation Plus access, you may be paying a little bit extra for that. So keep that in mind going into that console of choice. So moving on from that, we also got finally, thank God, we got actual prices. So the PlayStation Standard Edition with the disc drive will be $500, $499 retail. And then the digital will be $399 US retail as well. So you're seeing a $100 difference between the all digital and the original with the hard disk drive in there. So I don't think there is any too much difference between the two, besides one has the digital drive and the other one has the disk drive. So you can keep that in mind as well. You're just paying $100 less to have one that doesn't play Blu-rays, that doesn't play hard copies, which honestly in 2020, if you are keeping hard copies or you're buying hard copies, you're getting them as a gift or you just like collecting them. Honestly, I don't personally, I like to have all my games completely accessible to me digitally anyway. I don't really need a disc drive. I don't even watch Blu-ray discs. Anybody really watch Blu-ray discs anymore? All that is what we got from the PlayStation 5 event. So basically filled with a lot of trailers. We had some news here and there about what they were actually going to be doing with some of the games later on down the line, but we aren't really seeing too many big plays like Xbox was doing when it comes to services that are they're going to be available right on day one. And that's where Xbox is really taking the cake. Xbox is going to be, for the Series X, $499, so the same price as the PlayStation 5. And then the Series S is going to be a whopping $299, $200 less than the Xbox Series X. Keep that in mind, people. This is absolutely crazy. And the Xbox Series S, just like the PlayStation 4 digital, is also all digital. You're going to have a much smaller console. You're going to have it be as powerful as the Series X, but it's not going to be as, I believe the Series X is more or less focused on producing a good output as far as 4K streaming and 8K streaming for the games, as well as having a high frame rate output, versus the Xbox Series S, which I believe is going to be more or less focused on keeping those frames and performance as good as possible, but keeping them lower than 4K. So at 1440p and then 1280p, you're going to have them as a high resolution, but it's not going to be as focused as the 4K output is on the Xbox Series X. So keep that in mind as well. Honestly, if you have an Xbox Series X, or not a Series X, if you have an Xbox One X, then you won't really need to upgrade too quickly, because the Xbox One X is only slightly below the Series S. And just to make the deal even sweeter, Xbox is releasing a Xbox All Access payment plan. So basically what you can do is you can go ahead and get the Xbox Series X for $34.99 a month, or the Xbox Series S for $24.99 a month. And you're also going to get the Game Pass Ultimate all included in that bundle. So not only are you getting your console, but you're also getting the games and the hundreds of Xbox exclusive / third-party games that you will get with the Game Pass and all of the accessibility that it offers with that service. And that's actually a discount if you think about it. If you're paying $15 a month right now for Game Pass, you do that for 24 months, and then you also slap an Xbox Series X on top of it, it's $860 versus it being $840 by doing the Xbox Series X payment plan. So that's something that you might want to keep your eyes out for, especially if you're looking to getting it this holiday season. And the last point that I want to get across to you guys before we go is that people are going to choose their preference regardless. Everybody knows this. People want to play where their friends are playing. I know people that have every single console and they still choose to play on PC anyway, and they just want to go wherever their friends are. That's completely fine. And no matter what I tell you, no matter what anybody else tells you, make sure you're doing the best for your situation. I can't preach that enough. I love when people always question what other people are doing. It's like, well, you don't live in that person's shoes. You don't know what they have set up already anyway. Me personally, I'm spouting all of this about Xbox and I am praising them for everything that they're doing, but am I going to upgrade immediately? I don't know yet, because I still have an Xbox Series X, or not a Series X. These names are stupid. I still have an Xbox One X, and I don't necessarily feel the need to completely upgrade anything yet, because I don't have a full system set up for me to actually benefit from the increase in fidelity and the increase in frames per second that I would be getting out of a higher end console. I only have a 75 hertz monitor that only has a 1080p resolution. So it's not really gonna be that much difference to me, except the loading times, which in that case, I already have a PC for. And if I wanna play my games on PC, Xbox Game Pass has me set for that. You see how I did that there? You see how Xbox is keeping things going? That's all I gotta say, people. I mean, choose what you wanna choose, but Xbox is just doing a really good job right now, and I can't praise them enough for it. But in the end, these games and these services, they're all based around what you are going to spend for your dollar. And make sure you're just putting it in the right place. If you demand more out of these companies, they will do nothing but better things for you as long as you call them out on it. So that's my closing thoughts. If you guys are gonna be picking up the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5 or either of the digital editions of both, let me know in the comments below, which games are you most excited for? And don't forget, the Dashboard is also a podcast where I do a lot of creator interviews that are revolving around gaming content. So that's artists, that's other streamers, that is all other YouTubers and other podcasters. And if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments down below. And you can also hit me up on any of my links down in the description below too for my social medias. Lastly, don't forget that I appreciate you guys every single day. Thanks again for coming. And whenever you're looking for gaming news, reviews, or interviews, make sure you check your Dashboard first. See you guys later.